Hello, good morning everyone. Welcome to today's session of Spiritual Saturday Book Club. My name is Pastor Niral and I'll be sharing with you today. So as usual, before we begin, let's see who is online and joining us today. In the meantime, as my screen loads to see who's online today, let me just do a quick recap of what we're going through. We're actually going through the book Gurus for Higher Enlightenment for Sale. And this is a book that was created after His Eminence Tsem Rinpoche gave a very long 3-4 day teaching on everything to do with the Guru and the Dharma Center and also our own personal practice. So at the moment I can only see that Alice has joined us this morning. Hello Alice, I hope this morning is going very good for you. And okay, let me do a bit more explanation before more people join. So this book is divided into 3 sections. The first section is all about the Guru and how to think about the Guru, what our motivation should be behind the Guru-disciple relationship, as well as what the Guru will actually do to help to train us, and how we should think about our Guru. And hopefully I will be able to finish the section on the Guru today. And then that will lead us into the section on the Dharma Center and what it means to actually be part of a Dharma Center, how we should actually think about being part of a Dharma Center. Because we all have certain preconceived notions of what a Dharma Center should be, but this doesn't always align with what a Dharma Center actually is. So this book actually goes through it and tells you about how you should think about being part of a Dharma Center, how you should have and think about Dharma brothers and sisters, and how all of this is basically used to help you to gain spiritual transformation. And then the third part of the book, Tsem Rinpoche deals with a little bit with our own personal practice, but it is more on the Guru and also the Dharma Center. So I've seen some more people join. Gillian is online, Florence, Mr. Lum, good morning. Keng Hoi is also online. Good morning to all of you. Now for today I'm going to go straight into it, not much talking before I start the book, because I do want to cover quite a bit of the book today and see if we can finish the sections on the Guru. So then we can actually get onto the nitty-gritty of the Dharma Center itself and being part of a Dharma Center. So today's section actually starts with Samaya. Now Samaya is something that we've probably, if we've been around Buddhism, we've probably heard about a little, but not many people know what it is. So in this section, Rinpoche wanted to explain more about what Samaya is. Okay, so the heading at the top is Samaya is having an honest, pure relationship with the Guru. The outer actions that are necessary in a Dharma student are embodied within the 50 verses on Guru devotion. The inner qualities are embodied in the 9 attitudes. So remember, about 2 or 3 sessions ago, we went over some of the verses of the 50 verses of Guru devotion, and last week we went over the 9 attitudes. So the 50 verses are the outer protocol. The inner protocol the inner attitude is the 9 attitudes. These guidelines do not need to be fulfilled to the T. Who can fulfill all of that to a T? Perfectly with body, speech and mind. It is more about practical thinking, consideration and logical thinking. What is more important is for the students to have consistency. We should have consistency in our Dharma practice, commitments, what we promise and what we are supposed to do. Consistency is very, very important. One day our work will be finished. We will retire. Our kids will grow up, and if we have not trained in consistency all of these years, it is going to be impossible to do deeper practice later. Consistency is not determined by our mood, time, if someone chases us, if we are in a good mood, or because we are being watched. Consistency comes from commitment. Commitment comes from care. Care comes from understanding that this is really important. It is almost like a last stop. And here Rinpoche actually brings up something very, very important. Even among Dharma practitioners, what we usually think is that we'll do more Dharma when we're older. We'll engage in retreats when we're older. We will make more offerings when we're older. We will do meditation when we're older. Let's just get like the fun part of life over. Let's just have that family that we've always wanted. Let's just, go for that high-paying career that we've always wanted. Let's work for it. And all of this is not bad. It is not. Some people think when in Buddhism that when we're practicing we need to give up everything. We need to give up family. We need to give up our career. Actually, it's not true. You don't actually need to do all of that. But what you need to do is actually practice consistency. So if we are doing Dharma practice, if we are practicing Buddhism, for example, one of the simplest things that Rinpoche said can help us to deal with developing consistency is actually to do our sadhana every single day. And if you train in something like doing your sadhana every single day, you realize that you actually develop consistency. And this consistency is not about worldly gain. It is not about getting that high-paying career or having that fantastic family. It is about spiritual progress. And if you don't have that consistency, then when it comes to you getting older, you're not actually going to be practicing a lot of the Dharma. You're just going to be, So say if you can't do your daily sadhana now, what actually makes you think that when you're older, that you're going to be able to do your daily sadhana? And you will be surprised how many Dharma practitioners or people that claim they're practicing the Dharma actually don't do a daily sadhana. And this is one of the simplest things there is within Buddhism for you to do. This is one of the reasons why Rinpoche would always say, do your sadhana, do your sadhana, do your sadhana. And then what happened over time is that some people actually, because we were building Kechara Forest Retreat, because we were doing a lot of work, a lot of people would miss doing their daily sadhana, just because some days there wouldn't have been enough time, they thought, for them to do their sadhana. And that kind of extended. And then some people got into the mistaken view that doing Dharma work is the same as doing your sadhana. So they stopped doing their sadhana and just engaged in Dharma work. And when Rinpoche heard that every now and then Rinpoche would always ask people, are you doing a daily sadhana? Are you doing it? And to see if we were training in consistency. And when some people answered that they were no longer doing their sadhana, Rinpoche was a bit taken aback. So he said, why aren't you doing it? And they said, because Dharma work does the same things. It purifies your negative karma and it generates merit. And then Rinpoche replied to them, yes, it does, but your sadhana is extremely important, because it's not just about generating positive merit and purifying your karma. It is also about many other things. It's about invoking the blessings of the enlightened beings. It's about being consistent. It's about many more things. So then Rinpoche started telling everyone, please make sure that you do your sadhana every single day, even if you are doing Dharma work or even if you are in daily life and it gets really busy. So some people had questions about sadhana. So one of the things that Rinpoche actually explained is that if you can't do a daily sadhana every single day now, no matter how short or how long or how simple, in fact, the daily sadhana for most Kecharians is known as the Diamond Path. So it's literally just the Guru Yoga of Lama Tsongkhapa and the short practice of Doji Shugden every single day, because it's quite short. And Rinpoche said that if you can't do that every single day, then it means that you're not ready to receive tantric practice, because in tantric practice you make a commitment to do a sadhana every single day. And if you don't engage in that sadhana every day because you have made the commitment, the formal commitment to do so, you actually end up breaking your vows. And through the breaking of vows, actually generate negative karma. So that's why Rinpoche said that one of the prerequisites of actually receiving tantric initiation or tantric practice is to engage in doing a daily sadhana every single day at our level right now. No matter if we have initiation or not, no matter if we receive formal teaching or not, just engage in doing a daily sadhana every single day. Again, if anybody does have any questions, you can ask and I will answer your questions today. See, Pastor Hani has joined. Good morning, Pastor Hani. David Chu, Sharon Ong, Li Leng Myang is online, Martin Chow is also online, and Iman is also online. Okay, Iman has a question. Hi Pastor Niral, I was told by some people that after attending a puja, we can skip sadhana for that day, or we can do a short sadhana. Is this correct? This is a question that comes up a lot. And okay, I'll be blunt. The answer is no, actually. Even if you attend a puja or go to a puja, you still actually need to do your sadhana. Because your sadhana is in this case, I'm talking about consistency. So if I'm talking about consistency from this angle, then you can just say, I'll be consistent every day, apart from when there's days when I don't need to be. That doesn't actually train you in being consistent. Consistent would actually be doing something every single day for the rest of your life. And you're wondering, why is that consistency necessary? Why would I need that type of consistency? And it's very simple. As a Dharma practitioner, you're supposed to be practicing every single day. Doing a sadhana actually trains you to do something formal every single day. It's a formal set of prayers. It's a formal daily practice. But this consistency, when you do it every single day, actually goes towards real Dharma practice. So real Dharma practice is things like we've been discussing, is things like developing compassion. It is things like being more patient. It's things like lessening your anger. It is things like lessening your attachment. That is Dharma practice. If you are not consistent in something like your sadhana every single day, no matter whatever happens in that day, you're not going to be consistent in applying Dharma teachings so that it affects a real transformation in your life. So, for example, in a week, if you only do your sadhana 4 times, every single day, maybe you have a lot of anger. It's just an example. So you have a lot of anger. So every day you actually need to train yourself and be consistent in lessening your anger. Because if you do have a lot of anger, there'll be examples and situations every single day where you will get angry. When you notice that, you need to be consistent in reducing it day by day by day by day. But if you don't already have a practice of being consistent, there are going to be some days when you implement the Dharma to lessen your anger. But there are going to be some days that you don't. And you just let your anger have free reign. And if you allow that to occur, what happens is you don't actually transform to become a better person. When you don't actually transform to become a better person, over time what happens is you have less faith in the teachings to actually help you. And then you will notice you slowly go away from the Dharma. You start becoming less Buddhist. You start focusing less on your own self-transformation. Eventually what happens is you start drifting further away. So you need to ask yourself, you have all gone through some form of suffering in your life. And all of you here that have joined today actually know that the practice of the Dharma actually helps. It transforms you in some way. So you have to make the decision. Am I going to put energy and put worth into myself? Or am I just going to continue on, running after a partner, putting all my energy into somebody else? Am I going to keep putting all my energy into work, making somebody else rich? And that might not always come back to me, because I'm sure you've been in a situation at work where you have met your sales target or whatever, or you've been part of a project that's been successful. But most of the effort that you put in, the results of that don't actually come back to you. It actually goes to the people that own the company, or it goes to your seniors within the company. So it's a big roundabout explanation, but if you really want to put energy into yourself, into your self-transformation, then you engage in your sadhana every single day. Then you you have the normal things that we always talk about happen, which is you purify your karma, you generate merit, but at the same time you train yourself in consistency, and constantly every day you're invoking upon the energies of the enlightened beings. Now you're going to ask me, where do pujas come in this example? How do pujas help in this particular instance? So here the difference is that when you engage in a puja, it is for a specific purpose. It is for when you are going through extremely negative situations, or not even negative situations, even positive situations. What happens is that you need that extra bit of energy, you need the extra bit of help to actually do something, whether it is if you are, for example, if you're going through a particular illness, you will engage in medicine Buddha puja to actually help you overcome that particular illness. So it gives you that extra bit of focused energy that you need to overcome a particular situation. This is slightly different from a sadhana, because a sadhana itself is for self-transformation. It is to have the blessings and the energy for the self-transformation for your everyday Dharma practice. Pujas are when you need that little bit of extra oomph, that extra push to overcome or help with a particular situation. That's why you don't engage in a puja every single day. You engage in a sadhana every single day. Okay, I hope that answers your question. If it didn't, you please let me know, and I will see if I can explain it another way. Okay, there is a question by Chu Sang Lao. Pastor Niral, when one is away from home altar, how to do sadhana outside? Please advise. Thanks. Okay, this is a very good question. When we engage in our daily sadhana, when we engage in our daily sadhana, we do it in front of our altar. So our altar actually becomes a focal point within our house, where we make offerings, where we generate merit, where we engage in meditation, where we do our sadhana. Now, if we're traveling for work, or even if you've just gone on a family holiday or whatever, you're not going to be in front of your altar. So how do you do your sadhana every single day? It's very simple. You do your prayers and everything as you normally would do. I think the question you're asking is what to do with your altar. How to, you're not carrying your altar around with you. You're not lugging around all your statues and your water offerings with you. It's very simple. A lot of us actually take a small tata or a small statue with us when we go traveling, which is always a good thing to do. And basically, if you're in your hotel room or wherever you are, you can just put that on the table in front of you, and you can treat that as your altar, because it is a representation of an enlightened being. Other people take little prayer cards with them that they carry in their wallet, which has pictures and images of a Buddha or an enlightened being on it, and they just set that up on the table when they're in wherever they are, and they use that as the altar. Other people, especially many Kecharians, what we do is we all wear Buddha pendants. Now, a Buddha pendant is the image of a Buddha, so you can actually take off your pendant and put it on your altar, or put it on the table wherever you are, and use the pendant as the altar, because it is a representation of the enlightened being. So when we do that, when a lot of us go traveling, that's what we do. I personally I have one small statue that I take with me. If I really cannot take that statue, I always have my Dharma pendant on. So I will use that as a mini altar. And then what I usually do, say if you're staying in a hotel or whatever, there's going to be places that you can buy, a drink or a snack. You're not going to be able to make all your water offering bowls, but at least you can offer a small drink. So for example, in a hotel room, if there is a kettle with coffee or whatever, just make a tea or whatever, or even a coffee, and offer it up. Because an offering doesn't have to be the traditional set of offerings when you can't actually do it. You can offer whatever you can. So, if I was in a hotel, I'd make a cup of coffee and put it there and offer that up as an offering, and then you just engage in your sadhana as you normally would do. Okay, I hope that answers the question. Hannah has another question. Good morning to you, Hannah. Is it we must put a small tsatsa or Buddha statue when we do our sadhana? When you do your sadhana, it's best to actually do it in front of your altar when you're at home. The reason being is that your altar actually becomes a focal point in which you invoke upon the enlightened energies. Now, when you do a sadhana practice every single day and you invoke upon the enlightened energies, what happens is your altar itself becomes a kind of portal, and it becomes a portal or an energy source, a source of enlightened energy within your house. So if you're praying for things like protection, if you're praying things for like prosperity, and the list goes on, or health or whatever, when you engage in your daily sadhana every single day, your altar actually becomes a place where the enlightened beings sit. It's like they're sitting there. So if, for example, you're praying to Medicine Buddha, and Medicine Buddha is part of your daily sadhana because you pray for health, you pray for well-being, what happens is when you engage in Medicine Buddha practice every single day, your altar becomes a focal point of Medicine Buddha's energy. Hence, it actually becomes a place of healing. Similarly, if you are doing protection practices or protection visualizations, for example, say when you're doing Dorje Shugden's practice, you're using the visualization for protection. What happens is your altar actually becomes a place where Dorje Shugden's energy of protection reside. So it becomes a place of protection. Similarly, if you're doing increased practices, for example, you're doing Gyanze's mantra, for example, you're doing the visualizations of increase when you're doing Dorje Shugden's practice, and you're doing that every single day, your altar itself becomes a place that is full of energies of increase. That is number one. That is one way of explaining it. Another way of explaining it is that when you do your daily sadhana, it is very difficult for you, for most people actually, if they're not trained in doing it every single day, to actually have the proper concentration of the visualization. Each and every part of your sadhana will have a visualization associated with it. Now just imagine when you're doing your daily sadhana and just Lama Tsongkhapa's practice. What happens is when you're doing the practice, your mind is going to wander around if you haven't developed concentration. So what a Buddha image or the whether it is a statue, whether it is a taza, whether it is a small picture card, whether it is a framed picture, whatever it is, it acts as something that you can visually focus on. Okay? So when you do your daily sadhana, it is recommended that you always have at least an image of the Buddha in front of you, whatever it is. Okay? To actually help you focus, to actually help you concentrate. And when you do that, you actually find that your sadhana actually becomes much more transformational. We've got some more people joined. Yinping is also online. Iman asks another question. The same goes for retreat, right? We shall still do our daily sadhana after retreat. This is a very, very good question. Also, it's another question that a lot of people ask. When you're doing retreat, I don't need to do my sadhana. Because maybe they're doing a Dorje Shugden retreat. And Lama Tsongkhapa's Guru Yoga is inside. The practice of Dorje Shugden is inside. And that's my daily sadhana anyway. So I don't need to do it, right? Here again, this is a question that I personally asked Rinpoche, Tsem Rinpoche. And when I asked that, he let out this really hearty laugh. And he looked at me and he said, "You're supposed to be doing your sadhana every single day." And then I asked Rinpoche, "Yeah, but I'm doing the retreat, and the retreat includes all of the prayers I do in my daily sadhana. So so I don't need to do a daily sadhana because I've done a retreat session." And Rinpoche just laughed again and he said, "A retreat is a retreat. A sadhana is a sadhana. They're two different things. If a retreat session can be called a sadhana, you can replace it with your sadhana, and you can replace your sadhana with a retreat session, then you just call it extended sadhana session. Why would you call it a retreat? Therefore, different purposes. So a sadhana is always a sadhana, a retreat is always a retreat. So you don't need to engage in a retreat every day, but you do need to engage in your sadhana every day, even if the prayers and everything are the same. So Rinpoche always said to me, when you do a retreat, when you're in retreat, you have various retreat sessions. But on top of that, you still need to train in doing your sadhana. And the way that Rinpoche explained it was this. When you receive tantric practice, you will have your sadhana commitment. Okay, so say you receive the practice of Chenrezig, for example, and you need to do Chenrezig's practice every single day. But there will come a time when you're doing retreats, and say you're doing a Dorje Shugden retreat. So the retreat is on Dorje Shugden, but your daily commitment will be based on Chenrezig. Again, it is about consistency. If you don't train yourself for doing your daily sadhana every single day, even though you do retreats, even though you do pujas, even though you do Dharma work, what is going to happen is that when you receive tantric practice, you are not going to be stable in doing your tantric practice every single day. So the answer to this is, yes, even if you do a retreat, you still need to do your sadhana. Okay? I hope that helps. I know for some people you're going to think, oh no, maybe I don't do a retreat then, because I still need to do my daily sadhana. So maybe I'll think twice about doing a retreat. But that's not actually the proper way of thinking. Actually, you should rejoice because you're doing something more than your daily sadhana. So it is something good. It is something meritorious. Okay? Let's see. I've got some more people joined. Chung is online. Okay, Hannah asks, if I just wear the pendant with me because it's not convenient for me to take off and put it on a table. Okay, there will be some instances where you will be engaged, where you would want to do your sadhana, but it is not convenient for you to take off your pendant, say, and put it on the table if you're wearing it for you to do a sadhana. And I appreciate that in some situations it might not be convenient or it might not be feasible for whatever reason. In that case, if you are wearing a Buddha pendant, you can keep it on and do your sadhana. But you should be mindful and remember that you are wearing an image of the Buddha, of an enlightened being, and when you do your sadhana. So yes, if the situation is not conducive and it's not, you don't have to take a Buddha pendant off and put it on a table. That being said, when you do your sadhana, you should actually put energy and effort into it. So there may be instances where it is convenient, but you're thinking, oh, Pastor Niral said you can just keep it on and do it anyway, so I'm not going to take it off, I'm not going to put it on there, especially if you're in a hotel room or something. This wouldn't be a right view, okay? So if it is convenient, and if you can do it, then of course, please go ahead and do it. And in fact, you should put effort into doing it. And even making offerings, if there's if you've got extra food or whatever with you that is not being opened, again, you're in a hotel room and you've got a kettle and you can make a coffee or a tea, make offerings. It is part and parcel of sadhana. But in some cases, in some instances, Hannah has said, there will be times when it is not convenient to do it. It is not feasible to do it. And then just wearing your Buddha pendant, if you're using a Buddha pendant, and doing your sadhana is fine. Okay? So it is always a situational thing. It is not, within Buddhism, there is nothing that one rule fits everything and you have to die, you must do it. It's not like that. It is very fluid according to the situation. Okay? Seen some more people, Joy, Lai is online, Chong Kong, good afternoon, Batku, hi, okay, what is the sadhana? Okay, as Sharon has replied, a sadhana is basically daily practice. So it's practices and prayers that you engage in every single day. So in Kechara, most people's daily practice is the Guru Yoga of Lama Tsongkhapa and the daily practice of Doja Shugden. So that is the sadhana that everybody should be engaging in. If you want, in addition to that, you can add in prayers or mantras to other deities that you have an affinity with or you feel that you like. But one thing here is, because it is a daily sadhana practice, you shouldn't, do, Chenrezig as part of your daily sadhana one day, Manjushri another day, Vajrapani another day, Medicine Buddha another day, the list goes on. It should be consistent. Okay? Some people actually have their sadhana or prayers assigned to them by their guru, and that would be different. But most people, the daily sadhana, if they come into Kechara, should be Lama Tsongkhapa's Guru Yoga and Dode Shuden's daily practice. Okay? Because these are the two practices that were advised by Rinpoche for everybody to engage in every single day. So, got a comment from Hannah? Okay, you understood. And it's my pleasure to be able to explain all of this. Okay? So, we're going to go back to the book. And we're talking about samaya today. It is also about having very clean samaya. Samaya is a big fancy word in Sanskrit for relationship, and having a good relationship with our teacher. If we are supposed to give money to our teacher and we do not give, and our teacher is upset with us, it could be that A, the teacher is a monster because they're only after for money, and when you don't give it to them, they get angry. Or B, the teacher knows that we could have given money but we did not because we are hiding something again. Okay? Having clean samaya or a good relationship with our guru is very, very important because our relationship is a spiritual relationship. For spiritual attainments of something very high, which is enlightenment. The guidelines for maintaining clean samaya with a guru is within the 50 verses on guru devotion and the 9 attitudes, which we've covered previously. If we condense the 50 verses and the 9 attitudes, it is more about having an honest, pure, real relationship with the guru. It is about getting into a relationship where he helps us and we help him. We help him do Dharma work to benefit others. He helps us do Dharma work to benefit ourselves and others. On a deeper level, those 59 verses, which is the 50 verses plus the 9 attitudes, help us to overcome the emotional problems that we all have, so that we can be free and avoid complications, suffering, and emotional problems that we may have created for ourselves without meaning to. Having a clean samaya means to be honest with our teacher, to be forthright, earnest, and sincere. It is our chance to train in acquiring those qualities. If we already have those qualities, the relationship helps us to increase those qualities. There is no limit to how much we can increase our good qualities since we are trying to achieve Buddhahood. Showing respect to our guru is not some slavish, Eastern, fanatical, the guru can never be wrong trip. It has never ever been about that. We are devoted to our gurus because we realize that they have given us something that no one else can give us, not even our parents. They have given us the wisdom, path, and method that no one else could give us. They have put liberation in our palms in return for nothing. How kind is that? They are able to do all of this because they have spent 20 to 30 years working very hard, listening to the teachings, doing their retreats, and holding their vows. They have committed to their practice and to themselves and their transformation. Because they have committed and spent so much time in this, when they share this with us and they expect nothing back in return, we feel indebted. When we are overwhelmed with their kindness of all that they have placed in our hands, we are moved by devotion for them. We are touched to the core of our heart by their kindness. Naturally, we become polite, we become honest, we become direct, and we carry out the assignments that our gurus have given us. In the beginning, when people offer their services to the guru, it will be seen as if they are very kind for doing this or giving that. But when we understand the guru and the nature of the relationship very well, it is not about sponsors, attendants, or students who are very kind to the guru. It is actually the guru who is very kind to them. The guru gives them an opportunity to develop their mind and to do things with their resources and funds that they would never have done if they were left to their own devices. Within the Tibetan tradition, where they understand the Dharma, people clamor and push to do work for the master or teacher, and they do it very well. The sponsors all fight to sponsor because it is an honor. I have sponsored my gurus before. I have built houses for my gurus and sponsored their long life pujas, robes and medicines. I even gave my centers to some of them. I still never think I did them a favor. I always think of it as having an opportunity to make offerings to my gurus, which is worth more than making offerings to statues. Whenever I go to meet my gurus, I will buy offerings from whatever personal funds I have or whatever I can squeeze out of. Then I go to see them, reverently fold my hands and make offerings to them because I believe 100% that they are doing me a favor. I make the offerings to them in a manner that reflects that they are doing me a favor. I never arrogantly give it to them, make them remember what I have done for them, or make them owe me something for what I have done. I offer everything to my gurus. It is a perfect object for me to let go, to collect merit, to practice generosity, and I know they will do good things with it. I know they will. Even if they throw my gifts down the toilet, even if they burn the money I have given to them, I have still done the right thing. They may have thrown the gift down the toilet or burnt my money to check my mind. There was a story of a Mahasiddha who went to his guru for teachings. He was a beggar and had nothing, but when he went up to his guru for teachings, the guru asked him what he had brought to him. He said, "I don't have anything of value on me, but I want all the teachings." The guru said, "No, you have to give me something." The guy thought and thought and thought. He realized that the only thing he had were his teeth. He had nothing else. So he hit his jaws together very hard and his teeth fell out. He cleaned his teeth, put them on his hand and offered them to his guru. His guru said, "What a wonderful offering. Thank you." The guru taught him the Dharma and gave him initiation, practice and sadhana. The Mahasiddha became enlightened in one lifetime because his giving was so sincere. There is another story of a Mahasiddha who was wandering through the forest when he met a dark black lady with long hair wearing very little clothes. She was actually a Dakini. He recognized that she was something special, that she was not an ordinary person. He made 3 prostrations and asked her to please confer initiation and practice on him. She said, "No, you have to give me something." He asked her what she wanted. She said, "I want gold." The Mahasiddha somehow obtained the gold. He went around and begged, and through a lot of work, he finally got the gold, which he went back to offer to this black lady. When he offered up the gold to her, with no attachment whatsoever, she took the gold and asked, "For me?" He said, "Yes." "What do you want?" she asked. "I want Dharma," he said. "Okay." She took the gold and she threw it out. "Very good. Now I'll give you the Dharma." He also became attained in that lifetime. He got all the gold he wanted after that. When we reach a higher stage of Dharma and we offer our service to the Guru through work, sponsorship, writing, cleaning, taking care of younger students, it no longer becomes an attitude of doing the Guru a service anymore. The attitude will completely change. The qualities of a student are very simple: to be honest with our teacher, to be consistent, to have care, to have clean samaya, to create harmony, and to have clean samaya with fellow students, and to contribute to our Guru's work. Some people have known their Guru or teacher for many years, but have done very little or nothing. We should begin to contribute and give time to our Guru's work. Our Guru has been consistent for many years, teaching, explaining, talking to us and to others. We need to be consistent now. So as we've seen in this particular section, again, Guru devotion, samaya, it is all about consistency. And this consistency leads us to better things. It leads us to actual spiritual transformation. Okay. We've seen that Abby has come online. Good morning, Abby. Nice to see you here. Let's see if we can get through another section. So I will continue on with the section on spiritual conviction, spiritual commitment. Commitment is not how many obstacles you face. Commitment is about how much you want. If our attitude towards everything in life is flippant and easy, then it will definitely be the same in our spiritual practice. We should not do that with our spiritual practice because that is the most important practice that we can do for ourselves. Sorry, excuse me. If our Guru gives us something that is not complicated or difficult, and we still cannot do it, we still find it difficult, we still find so many reasons not to do it, that itself is an obstacle arising. If we cannot even recite a few words, then we should not even think about meditation, contemplation, or higher practices that bring bigger results. A person who acknowledges a practice from a guru and says yes, and does not do it, definitely cannot advance spiritually. He will also not be able to advance in material, worldly, normal, daily situations. It is like not caring about losing 100 ringgit. If you just stuff the pile of money in your pocket and it falls out while you run around, then why would you worry about losing 1 or 2 ringgit? In the same way, we have our Guru and spiritual commitment. However, when our Guru gives us something and we do not care, or it is according to our mood or how we feel, it is according to our lack of priorities, and we throw these practices aside. We promise, we do not do, we do not do. Then everything else in our life will be exactly the same, and our projects and endeavors will not reach fruition and completion. If we promise our Guru something and we do not do it, this will also be how we treat everything else in life. We can check someone's conviction in his life, in himself, and in other things by his spiritual practice. When you give someone a practice, you can see their personality very, very clearly. If we are like this, and we look carefully at what we are focused on in our lives, we will see that our minds are not big, important things. Instead, we spend a lot of time explaining ourselves and focusing on very small things. We cannot do bigger things because we do not focus and we do not push ourselves. You might think that the instructions you are getting are not from your Guru. That may be true. But Buddha Shakyamuni is also not your Guru. If you take the Bodhisattva vows in front of an image of him and you do not keep them, does it not matter? Because he is not your Guru. In fact, he is just a statue. He is not even there. We might choose to take a vow of vegetarianism for 15 days a month in front of a Kuan Yin statue. But that is not your Guru. Is it a real living Buddha according to your visualization, or is it just a statue? Similarly, if the instructions we get are not from our Guru, but they are from a teacher, the teacher must have good motivation towards us. If the teacher is an advanced being and the teacher has some sort of bodhicitta, compassion or love, and holds his or her vows well, they are a proper object of devotion. Even those beings may have more power than normal beings for protection, blessings and inspiration. When we make a promise to them, whether they are our gurus or not, and we break our promise to them, there will be repercussions. lying to our mother, lying to our friend, or lying to someone we just met on the street has different repercussions in society. Someone who lies to his mother is considered very bad. Someone who lies to his friend is considered pretty bad. Someone who lies to a stranger on the street is not a good person, but it is still acceptable. So if we break our commitment to our gurus, or if we break our commitment to a being with good intention towards us, there will be different degrees of repercussions. The karma comes very differently. The object, the action, and the motivation create the karma and its intensity. It is unimaginable for me that someone can make a commitment and not fulfill it. I remember that in the last 25 years that I have been doing my daily sadhana, I have only missed doing it twice. Once when I was in Thupten Dagye Ling Center in Los Angeles, I had been working very hard during the day. So I laid down for a few minutes and fell asleep. When I woke up the next day, the scariest feeling overcame me. I had forgot to do my sadhana before I went to sleep. I could not stop crying because I had received it from Tsem Rinpoche, and I was very worried and did not know how to repair it or what to do. I could not go to work. I was trembling and thinking, what happens the next time I do retreats? Tsem Rinpoche is not around anymore for me to repair these commitments. I went to see Kechara. I was hysterical. Kechara just looked at me and said, do it twice. A few months ago, I overslept because I was very exhausted. I woke up the next day and I had that horrible feeling again. But I did my sadhana twice the next day. Sometimes I do my mantras twice if I am not sure I have already done it. It is not like it is now. People just do their mantras a little bit and they start to not feel good. The air conditioner is on, they are in their own homes, they have a refrigerator, they are comfortable and there are no mosquitoes, but they cannot do mantras because they have 108 mental problems, obstacles, cannots, fears. They create obstacles for themselves. I was doing my mantras on the streets. I was doing my mantras walking back and forth to school. Whether we do it or not is not because of our obstacles, it is our commitment. If we are not committed people, we will allow ourselves to say, no, I won't. How strong our commitment is how much we want it. How much we want it depends on us realizing the value of what we are doing. Understanding the value of what we are doing is dependent on knowledge. Knowledge is dependent on listening. Listening is dependent on patience. Patience is dependent on compassion. Compassion is dependent on knowing that if we do not do this, we and others that we love will suffer. It all comes back to the self-cherishing mind. Commitment is not about how many obstacles we face. Commitment is about how much we want it. All of us have gone through very difficult situations for something we wanted. We go to extensive lengths to connect with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, to be with them, to impress them, to sweet talk them, to take a shower, to look good, to be alert, to be mindful, to get a car, to pay exorbitant amounts of to pay exorbitant amounts of money, to impress them. We go through a lot. And we are willing to suffer all those obstacles to get that person that we want because we want that person. That applies to everything else in life. If you think you have never had commitments and you cannot fulfill your commitments, you are absolutely wrong. Every person with the easiest life in the world, born with a golden spoon in his or her mouth, has chased for things or has faced difficulties, according to his own degree, to get what he wanted. It is just about whether he wanted it or not. We have to think very, very carefully. What is the purpose of a commitment? If we do not want it, we call it an obstacle and we stop. That is actually an excuse, and we should not make that excuse. We should get our priorities straight. Everything that we do, except for Dharma practice, will bear little or no positive results, and we will not be continuous in anything that we do. They are just distractions and things that we have self-created, a web into which we have tangled ourselves. Dharma practice is very different. It looks like a tangled web, but actually it is an exit. It is a way out. So that's a very, very good section that actually talked about quite many different things. Let's see who's online. Calvin's online. Hello, good morning. And Sharon asked a question. Does our samaya with our guru carry on from one lifetime to another? Yes, samaya actually, it depends on our own practice actually. In terms of Dharma practice, in terms of when you think about practice, your samaya actually only for people on our level actually is only lasts for this one lifetime. And it's not your guru's lifetime, it is your lifetime. Okay? However, that connection that you create with that guru can span multiple lifetimes. So, for example, in this lifetime, you have a guru, and through your relationship with the guru, you have samaya with your guru. That samaya only lasts for this lifetime. Okay? However, the connection that you have created with the guru can span into your next life. For example, in your next life, you meet with a new incarnation of the guru and you create that bond again. So in that lifetime, the samaya is recreated in that lifetime. The connection, however, with your guru can actually span multiple lifetimes. So in essence, your samaya with your guru is only for this life. That specific samaya with your guru is only for this lifetime. For example, in this lifetime, your guru says you should do Chenrezig practice. So your samaya is to do Chenrezig practice all the way up until you pass away. Okay? Then in your next life, you connect with your guru again. That doesn't mean that you have to be aware and conscious and remember your past life and remember that you had the samaya to do Chenrezig practice. So in that lifetime, you also have to do Chenrezig practice because it's not feasible. Okay? I mean, it is feasible, it's doable, but you need to be realistic about it. In that lifetime, your guru tells you to do Manjushri practice. So you create the samaya with your guru, and part of that samaya is to do Manjushri practice. Okay? So samaya itself is, technically speaking, is only for that one particular lifetime. Okay? Sometimes you will see people talk or refer to samaya actually crossing over lifetimes, going into your next life. You still have samaya with your guru. They talk about it in terms like that. What they're talking about here is not actually samaya. What they're actually talking about is that connection with the guru. So the reason why they use the term samaya is because sometimes people might not know or might not have an appropriate word that gets across this connection. This connection is actually a relationship. It is a guru-disciple relationship. So they might not know how to give a better word than just connection. Okay? So I'm using the word connection, but it doesn't carry the implications of having a guru-disciple relationship, what happens karmically speaking when you do that, because you do create a bond with your guru when you take it. But when you take a guru-disciple relationship, that does cross over many lifetimes. But samaya in itself, having clean samaya, actually only refers to, technically speaking, to one lifetime. Okay, hope that answers your question. Got a question from Hannah. When I join the puja online, like a Dorje Shugden prayer in the live stream, because I live in my working place, I do not have anything, but just have a Dorje Shugden pendant wearing on me. So, sorry, my screen went a bit weird. So, is it still the same meaning or merit that you gain, or is it just normal practicing? Okay, when you join a say for example a live streamed puja, you are not maybe you're at work, maybe you're not in a place where you can have an altar and do it yourself, maybe you cannot make offerings, but the very fact that you're joining the puja actually means that you're generating merit. Because for example, when we're doing pujas here in Kechara Forest Retreat, we are actually doing it in front of an altar. We're doing it in front of an altar. We're making offerings. There will always be offerings on the altar. And so through that, we're actually fulfilling the requirement of having an altar. So if you're joining the live stream puja and you might not have an altar, you might not be in front of an altar, but you still gain the benefits and the merit from that because you're joining the prayers. Okay? So when you yourself recite the prayers, even if you don't have the offerings in front of you, they are actually being made. The offerings are actually being made for somewhere else. And in this case, they're being made in Kechara Forest Retreat. So when we actually do live streaming pujas, yes, there'll be a specific. Excuse me. Yes, there will be a. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. When we're doing live streaming pujas and when you join, when we do the pujas here, yes, there will be a main specific reason why we're doing it. For example, the weekly Dorje Shugden Puja, or even in KH when they do the Medicine Buddha Puja and Rinpoche Swift Return Puja, there is a reason why we're doing it. But we also do it so that other people can join, so that everybody can join, so that you can join. It's the whole reason that we're filming on the live stream. So when you do watch the live stream and engage in the puja with us, you are actually partaking in the energy of having made the offerings on the altar. So it does fulfill that requirement, as it were, to have an altar and to make offerings and things like that. However, that being said, if you are in a situation where you can be in front of your altar with offerings, if you're at home, you should be. And you should be doing it. Because it's not about somebody else doing it, it's also about your own effort into your Dharma practice. So it's a very good question, but obviously again, it's situational. Nothing is black and white in Buddhism, okay? It is always about the situation, what you do in a situation. That even applies to watching live streaming. I'm sure some of you may be at work watching this. Some of you may be still sleeping in bed watching this, okay? Some of you, might be at work watching this. Some of you might be sitting with your family at the dinner table watching this. So, but you're still learning, okay? It's the same when you join things like live stream, especially when it's things like pujas and things. It's situational. Everything is situational, okay? Martin asks, Hi Pastor Niral, on a daily basis we offer prayers to a whole host of deities And in that way, we fortify our affinity with them. Yep. What is the one key practice we can do daily to keep, repair, maintain our samaya with the Guru? This is a very good question. Now, the one practice to do every single day to maintain or keep repair, and keep your connection, your samaya with your Guru, is actually engaging in a Guru Yoga. Now this, for Kecharians, is already included in your daily practice because it is the Guru Yoga of Lama Tsongkhapa. Now when you visualize and think about Lama Tsongkhapa, it is not just Lama Tsongkhapa, the historical Buddha figure that you're thinking of. Lama Tsongkhapa is actually an embodiment of, is one and the same as your Guru. So when you do Lama Tsongkhapa's practice, when you visualize Lama Tsongkhapa, you also have to generate the strong feeling and thought that Lama Tsongkhapa is the same, is the one and the same as your Guru. When you do that and when you engage in that practice, you can, in any Guru Yoga actually, you maintain and repair the samaya between yourself and the Guru. That being said, when you also engage in other deity practices, for example, Manjushri, Chenrezig, whatever deity that you're doing, you should also think of that deity as one and the same with your own Guru. And in that way, it also helps to strengthen and purify your samaya. There are, however, some instances when you have directly broken your samaya. That means basically that you have purposefully broken your samaya, which means that you have purposefully not carried out the instructions of a Guru. He's given you specific instructions, you purposefully don't do it. So that breaks your samaya or makes your samaya, that relationship, dirty, makes it stained. In those cases, what you do is you engage in the practice of Vajrasattva, because Vajrasattva is a practice that specifically helps to purify the negative effects of things like negative actions and also things like broken samaya. There are actually quite a few different deities that you can, the practices of different deities that you can engage in when you purposefully have broken your samaya, or you have purposefully gone against your Guru's instructions and you now want to repair that. Okay, but one of the main ones that we do is Vajrasattva. But again, generally speaking, if it is to maintain your samaya and to make sure it is clean without having purposefully broken it, all you need to do is to engage in a Guru Yoga practice, but with strong faith, with strong conviction, and as properly as you can. What I mean by properly is that you engage your three doors. You engage your body, you engage your speech, and you engage your mind. You engage your body by actually sitting down and in front of your altar and not fidgeting and actually doing your sadhana, your Guru Yoga. You engage your speech by reciting the prayers and the mantras, and you engage your mind by focusing on the visualizations. When you have these three and you do your Guru Yoga every single day of Lama Tsongkhapa, thinking strongly that it is one with your Guru, this helps to maintain and clean Guru Samaya, and actually allows the blessings of the Guru to actually come forth and help you in your transformation. I hope that was clear. Okay? And comments by Sharon. Oh, thank you. Kwan Ming is online, and Hannah said thank you also. My pleasure. If you do have any more questions, please do ask. Let's see if I've got time to, still got a little bit of time. Let me do one more section. And this is about doubting the Guru. I refer to the Kala Chakra Tantra, the Kala Chakra short treatises. If we observe something in our Guru that we do not understand, which we do not have the wisdom to understand, or which we do not agree with, we should just quietly stay away, not say anything and not criticize. In our meditations, we see our Guru as a Buddha. His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama said he had no problems with that, and he gave an example. He had 2 regents when he was a child. One regent, Reting Rinpoche, was in power when he first assumed his position. Reting Rinpoche had the power taken away from him, and another regent came into power after that. The second regent found out that there was a plot, so he had the first regent, Reting Rinpoche, imprisoned in the Potala and executed. The Dalai Lama was living upstairs, and in the dungeons of the Potala was his Guru, Reting Rinpoche. The Dalai Lama said that in his meditations he saw Reting Rinpoche as being very kind to him. He was the one who went all over Tibet to find him. He went to Palden Lamo's lake to receive the visions to see him. He was the one who was running the country when the Dalai Lama was still very young. Reting Rinpoche was the one who exchanged his clothes for lay clothes and went to the Dalai Lama's house to see if the Dalai Lama could recognize him. He was the one who brought the items to him to recognize. Reting Rinpoche was the one who gave him his vows and refuge vows, who became his first Guru and gave him teachings. At the same time, when there was political intrigue, this same Rinpoche, the Dalai Lama's Guru, was put in the dungeon in a holding cell in the Potala and executed by the second regent who came into power. His Holiness said in his writings that in his meditations he had no problem seeing Reting Rinpoche as his Guru, but on an ordinary, normal level, he saw him involved in political intrigue, and that there were consequences which had to be carried out. He said he did not see any difficulty in that. On one level, His Holiness can meditate on his Guru being a Buddha, and on the other level, he acknowledges that his Guru had committed a crime. I am not at that level. I cannot do that. If I found out that my Guru was a mass murderer, the reincarnation of Jack the Ripper, and had been killing monks and nuns, it is going to be pretty hard for me to visualize him as a Buddha. I feel that what the Dalai Lama says can only apply to His Holiness. It cannot apply to us because he is forced into the position of a political king or leader and a high spiritual teacher. He has no choice. He has to play 2 roles. That is the way he had to come to terms with what happened to his Guru. But do we want to go in that direction, to think that our Gurus can be wrong? Do we want to listen when another Guru says that our Guru is wrong, or when our Guru says another Guru is wrong? When a Guru is dead, do we start saying that whatever he taught us was wrong? Do we want to break our samaya? Do we want to make people lose confidence? Then it will not end. I will not do that, and this is why I choose the middle path. Sometimes we find ourselves in difficult situations with the Guru. He may tell us to do something, and even if we do it the way he has instructed, he then says no and tells us to do it differently. It is so difficult to please him. We work hard in the hot sun or in the cold while we are thirsty or hungry, and for years we bear criticism from people who complain about us from the east, the west, and all 10 directions. On top of that, after we have explained our work to our Guru and we expect a compliment from our Guru, we get a scolding instead. It is difficult to work it is difficult to do work and not know exactly what to do or exactly what our Guru wants. However, we have to learn to see the scolding of a Guru like a wrathful mantra, purifying our hindrances and negative karma. Eventually, all the hardships and criticism become incredibly worthwhile because he is destroying our ego and our attachments. We have to ask ourselves if we did the work to get a compliment. If we get angry when our Guru tells us that we did our work wrongly, or when he tells us to do it again, we must consider that he may be mirroring our feelings and our mind. He shows us how attached we are, how angry and how impatient we are. How kind that person is to put up with that kind of action. In the Lamrim Chenmo, it says that if the Guru shows he is pleased, it does not mean that he is really pleased. Or if the Guru shows us that he is displeased, it does not mean that he is really displeased. His mind may actually be pleased, but outwardly he may have to show displeasure for a purpose. Perhaps he is testing us. That is what a skillful, perfect, real Guru does. How can we know if his actions are not a reflection of our own actions? We cannot judge our faulty eyes, our faulty mind, and faulty decisions. How many faulty decisions do we make from morning to night? How can we trust ourselves? In the first place, how do we know that what we are seeing is reliable? How do we know that we are reliable? Even when we meet an ordinary person, we cannot really trust our judgment of what he is doing, whether it is right or wrong. We have met many people who are not at all like what we first thought they were. So how can we judge a Guru who may be advanced in his meditations and deliberately shows different aspects to us? How can we know if our Guru is not enlightened, manifesting in an ordinary way? How do we know if our Guru has or has not the best intentions for us? How can we make that differentiation? How can we judge? If we look at ourselves honestly, we will know that we have oceans and oceans of weakness and very few good qualities. Yet our minds have been trained to always see ourselves in a good way, even with all the negative qualities, negative traits, and delusions. If we can learn to look at the Guru in the same way, our minds can be trained to develop Guru devotion. I am sure our personal Gurus have many more good qualities than us, for us to base our training on. It would be better to assume that our Guru is a Buddha than to make the drastic mistake to think that he is not a Buddha. We need to check and meditate on the good qualities of our Guru to override the bad qualities that we think of or perceive. The more we train ourselves to think of the good qualities, the more our wrong thoughts are cut out. As the great Lama Tsongkhapa said, the more we see good qualities, the less we see mistakes in others, the smaller and weaker their faults become. It is the Kadam way of Guru devotion to look at the good qualities our Guru has. Because objectively, many Dharma teachers are not Buddhas, and unless our Guru is running around murdering people, nitpicking the bad qualities of our teacher all the time will not encourage our practice, our faith, or our spiritual quest. The Guru is made up of 4 elements: water, earth, fire, and water. The statues are also made up of the 4 elements, but they are not the Buddha. They are a representation of a Buddha. This Buddha cannot eat, move, teach, feel, or console us. He just sits there stiff, staring at us, waiting for more offerings. If we can visualize this as the Buddha, then we can visualize our Guru. If we visualize this as the Buddha, as in the statue or the image, can't we visualize our Guru as an actual living Buddha? They are made up of the same materials. In fact, our Guru would be a much better visualization. We can actually eat what we offer him, thereby giving us the opportunity to collect merits. He can actually console us. When we request for Dharma, he can actually teach, guide, and help us. The Guru is none other than a Buddha. We should not run away from our responsibilities or escape his instructions. We should not avoid him because we cannot do it out of our laziness or any of the delusions. Also, if our Guru tells us something, we should not do it just because we are scared that we will be punished if we don't, and that there will be bad karma. We should try to understand and think about his intention for giving us these instructions. If with our limited wisdom we cannot understand his intention, we should go ahead and do what he has instructed, be patient, and not make all sorts of comments. What he asks may be difficult, and his immediate purpose may not be obvious, but our teachers only tell us what to do that is beneficial for ourselves and others. We should not fight him once we have accepted him as our Guru. We should receive his advice joyfully and with deep gratitude for the great concern he has for our welfare. Sometimes our Guru may ask us to do something and we sincerely cannot do it, not because we are stingy, lazy, and just do not want to do it. If we sincerely cannot do it and we explain the situation to him, the Guru will of course say it is okay. If we really cannot comply, we should not be rude or arrogant. We should explain politely and with extreme humility what the difficulty is. The teacher will not be unreasonable if a Buddha is filled with great compassion. In Manjushri's Tantras, he quotes, "In the future, the Buddhas will appear in ordinary form, in the form of our Gurus. If the Buddhas appear to us in their regular form, how will you see them? Can you see Shakyamuni or Kuan Yin or Manjushri? If we cannot see and hear them, how will we get the teachings? If the Buddhas manifest in a very high form, we cannot see them. If they manifest in a very low form, like a dog, it is of no benefit to us. They do, of course, have the power to manifest to benefit us, but they manifest in a medium form, a form of an ordinary human being with supposed problems, delusions, and faults. In this way, they can be closer to us, so that we can relate to them easier, and they can use themselves as an example to show us how we can improve. If a Guru manifested perfectly, does not touch the ground, walks by floating 3 inches off the ground, has a halo around him, never smells, does not have to take a bath, we would think that is too far away and that we would not be able to accomplish that for ourselves. But if an enlightened being manifests in an ordinary, simple way that we can relate to, with all the same supposed problems that we have, and we learn that he has started off just like us and gradually improved, then it is inspiring, then it is moving, it is excellent for us, it is exemplary. Okay, so we finished the section on doubting the Guru. So I'm going to end there, and I think maybe next week we'll be able to finish the section on the Guru, and then we can get to, I think, the part that everybody's been waiting for, is the part on Dharma centers, Dharma brothers and sisters, our relationship with each other, how we should think and feel about each other, okay, and how that we use that to improve ourselves, spiritually speaking. So before we go, I would just like to thank today's sponsor, which is Iman. With the dedication, may all suffering quickly cease, all joy and happiness be fulfilled, and the holy Dharma flourish forevermore. Thank you very much for your sponsorship. If anybody would like to sponsor any of our live streamings, you can do so by clicking on the link in the description. And I hope everybody has learned a little bit. If you do have any questions, you can always message me on Facebook, and I will answer you next week. So thank you very much, and do stay tuned for the next part of Spiritual Saturday, which is Lunch Together. Thank you very much.